First and foremost, I want to apologize for Tuesday's video. It was supposed to upload, but me being a big dumb idiot, I hit unlisted instead of scheduled on that video, so I am sorry that I missed out on Tuesday's video, but we should still be fine moving on from here. You know, just random hiccups aside, I think we should still be good for the daily content. I don't like that it broke my streak though. But that's not what you're here for. You guys are here for the Advanced Quest 5 that's going to be coming out on the NA side of things in about a day after this video goes up, I believe. And as per usual, I would like to give you guys some advice or more of a guide on how you can quite easily take these guys out, get your farming CEs, and move on with your life. Although I don't know if there's going to be anything else to really move on to. The current event is coming to an end, and then after you do Advanced Quest, well, let's just hope they give us something on top of that, otherwise it might be a little bit dry over here on the NA side of things. So strap in, get comfortable, drop a like on the video, and subscribe to the channel if you like daily FGO content, aside from, you know, again, randomly not hitting upload and hitting unlisted for some reason. But I swear that doesn't happen very often, alright? It is daily FGO content, alright? I'm always going to make sure that you have something to watch that's FGO related every single day. But with that being said, let's start off by looking at the Phoenix Feather one, or the Lancelot Advanced Quest. I'm working in reverse order here because I think this is probably the easiest one to do. You can unironically just run in there with any single target servant, or really probably any AoE servant as well that even just has power mod or just is really strong for you, and obliterate him. He is a berserker, so pretty much everybody is going to be weak to this guy, and he has some decent traits for you to be able to take advantage of. For one, he has Earth attribute, so if you have someone like Chiron, you can just snipe this guy from lower Earth orbit and take him out. If you've got Tesla, he'll work for this. Ereshkigal will work for this. If you've got Raiko, I mean, the NP probably won't take him out, but the following up crits definitely will. If you have Kulyan Dark, you can use her. I mean, there are just very solid options, but even if you're not trying to play up to the power mod, let's say you just have Kentoki Rider, or you have Summer Hokusai, Chloe even, any of these will realistically be able to get the job done. He's not super large at only 303,000 HP, and there's no defensive gimmicks or anything. There is a gimmick that kind of starts with this batch of Advanced Quests, where if you bring specific servants, the bosses will do something in response to that. So Lancelot, for instance, if you're bringing in Artoria, he will taunt them for 3 turns, which you can actually take advantage of, because the gimmick for this fight is that Lancelot will sacrifice the bugs that are right next to him, and they can do a whole cavalcade of just very annoying things. They can seal your NP, they can stun you, they can skill seal you. It can charge his own NP up, which is a little bit dangerous because he is a berserker and he is AoE, so he will do a lot of damage to your front line, if just not take them out entirely. And they do come back every single turn, but again, realistically, all you have to do is just run in there, blow him up, and then you're done. So look for your best single target or someone that does have power mod and just obliterate this guy. Then we have the crab fight, and this is quite literally the exact same fight that we just did for Tesla Fest. You know, 6 of these crabs have 99% damage resistance against Noble Phantasm, so again, you're probably not going to be doing very much damage with them, and then they're going to give you a massive poison debuff of 10,000 that is unremovable. So since they do have 99% resistance against NPs, you could just punch them. You could just do really good crit turns. That's a pretty viable strategy that you could go ahead and do, but not all of them are resistant to the NPs. Again, it's only C, F, H, J, L, and N. So you could just mix in some AoE NPs in there as well to kind of kill the other crabs that might be, you know, susceptible to NPs. And the other ones, you just crit. I'm pretty sure the lesson they're trying to have players learn for this Advanced Quest is learning how to order your cards in a proper order, because it seems that you want to do crits on specific guys, you want to target them specifically. So maybe you do something where you have your face card go attack the guy that is pretty much immune to the NP, you take them out, then you wipe everybody else, and then if there's anybody else remaining, you have them get hit by the follow-up face card, or the extra attack if you're doing a Brave Chain. That seems to be the lesson that they're trying to get y'all to learn, or I guess not just y'all, but all of us as players, I suppose. But it's not super difficult, again, because unlike the other crabs from the other CQ that were pretty much resistant to everything, and it was kind of hard to just outright obliterate them without the damage CE that the lottery provided, but again, these guys are not going to give you all that much trouble. It might be a little bit annoying because they're going to be poisoning you a lot, and, you know, at the very beginning of the battle, they'll poison everybody by 1,000 for 10 turns, And a 10k poison is going to melt a lot of servants, especially the low rarity ones that might not have, over 10,000 HP, but most of your silver and above servants are probably going to be fine. They'll be able to live the hit, and then if you have stuff like invincibility, dodge, all that good stuff, you'll probably be okay. You can just kind of stall through it. It's not particularly long either. I imagine with decent RNG, you could get through this in 3 turns, because 6 enemies spawn initially, there's 3 more behind them, and then the last wave is just 6 of them again. So realistically, just watch out for the poison, and you'll probably be fine. If you're into Herc memes, I imagine he's actually kind of funny for this one, because you're getting poisoned so often that you should be able to proc the guts very, very quickly. And so you can just ramp up for a bajillion damage. I mean, probably not the greatest into 6 enemies at once, but I do think it's very funny that you're like, your hurt could be fully built up by turn 2 or something, just because you're taking so much damage from poison and probably also getting attacked by some of the crabs. I mean, there's 6 of them, right? So I do find that very funny if you want to go that route. Same thing for someone like Tyra. You could proc her guts a lot and get like really high grudge status. So, just funny things you could probably do with that one. Then finally, there's the Hector one. This one is a bit annoying. I believe when I ran into this one blind on the JP side of things, I almost lost it, but I was still able to get it cleared. Basically, the name of the game is to kind of stall Hector a little bit, because he has 1,000,000 damage cut for 15 times. Meaning you're effectively not going to be doing very much damage to him, and even if you're brave chaining him repeatedly, that is still going to take 4 turns to really beat out all of those things, because even if you're doing 4 attacks times 4 turns, 16, that gets you over the 15 times. So you're going to need a little bit of sustain. The problem is Hector himself also spawns in the invincibility at the very beginning, so it could take longer if you're not packing somebody with, say, a Pierce Invincibility CE. I can start eating away at the damage cut immediately. It might take even longer than that. But thankfully, it's only 1 invincibility for 1 time at the very beginning of the turn. It's kind of similar to the Alco fight during the 3rd phase, if you've done that on the JP side of things. Just mildly annoying. This fight also really wants you to learn how to order your buffs. And what I mean by that is they want you to learn how to put your more valuable buffs in the back, or they're the more recent buff you've given yourself, because before Hector will fire his NP, he removes the latest defensive buff from all enemies, and Durandal is an AoE NP, so Hector will be hitting you kinda hard. But if you can get into a good groove of, say, having a decent stall team, people like Merlin, people like Castoria really come into mind, people that can really double up on these different defensive buffs, so even if you do mess up your order with, say, the Solemn Defense, you at least still have, say, Merlin's illusion skill still going for you, and, Hector thankfully does not pierce invincibility. He does pierce defense, so if you are going to be relying on trying to face tank through things, that's not really going to work. But that would be my recommendation. That's kind of how I got through it over on the JP side of things. Granted, I did go in a bit blind. I think I just had double Castoria with whoever my looper was at the time. It might have been Summer Ibuki, I'm not sure. Or maybe it could have been Muramasa, but regardless, doing that was able to kind of still get through the fight. It was a little crusty, but we still did it. So it might just look more annoying than it actually is. You do have a little bit of counterplay against Hector's NP in the way that whenever you attack Hector with your normal attacks, you give him 1 stack of Castle Attack Trait, and you hit him with an NP, he gets 2. Whenever he has 7, it decreases his NP gauge by 1 tick. So again, if you're thinking of the line of doing Brave Chains, even with just your normal attacks, every 2 turns, you'll decrease his gauge by 1, which is kind of helpful. This one also has a similar mechanic to the Lancelot one, where if you bring Achilles for this fight, he gains type advantage over Hector, and he also gets Pierce Invincibility, which is very, very nice. Like I was saying earlier, that the invincibility that spawns at the very beginning of the turn can slow down your ability to take out his damage cut in a quick and concise manner. But if you do happen to have an Achilles, because unfortunately for advanced quests you can't bring friends, otherwise I just tell you bring a friend Achilles, and he does pretty good work on this fight. But if you do have him, he can definitely put in some work on Hector, allowing you to pretty consistently get through that damage cut, and also just having him be super effective. Why they didn't do this in Shimosa for Masashi, or just really any time they make you use a force support, I will never know, but I'm glad that they're starting to do it now, because it definitely makes it a bit more thematic, but it's also very helpful that Achilles can kind of help you win this fight. Other than that, you might want to look into bringing, say, Pierce Invincibility CEs for whatever your single target servant is going to be. He does have man attribute, so your boy's probably going to try to use Morgan for this fight, but it's also really nice because if you have your own Koyenskaya gives you man power mod, so you're really good into this fight. As soon as you're able to damage Hector, you'll probably just blow him up immediately, because now you have the power mod on top of all the other strong buffs she's giving. But like I said, I ran into this blind on the JP side of things with double Castoria, and I believe it was Muramasa actually. And while it wasn't, super smooth because I wasn't expecting to be in there for a really long fight, it did still end up working out. So again, might sound a little bit more annoying than it is, but once you kind of grasp the mechanics of the fight, you can go in there well prepared, you can just thrash this really, really easily. But I hope this video was helpful for you guys, using some of my experience on the JP side of things to tell you kind of how I was able to beat it, and then just explaining what these fights do. Don't worry, I'll also have clears going up on the channel in the coming days as soon as this releases on the NA side of things. And if me, being a big dumb idiot, can get through these fights, then you definitely can, alright? Look, I forgot to hit upload on a video. I don't think anybody's making mistakes like that. So if I can get through it, you can get through it. But with all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. You guys have yourselves a nice day, and I'll catch you guys on the flippity floppity.